Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. We're back again. It is Monday's edition of the Counterpoint on One Leeds fan channel. Absolutely buzzing, as always, to be joined by my good pal, Joe Wayman. Before we get into it, everybody, today's episode is sponsored by IPM Group, leaders in security and facilities management across the UK, from advanced CCTV monitoring to bespoke security systems and top-tier commercial cleaning. IPM Group is dedicated to protecting businesses, stadiums and communities with 24/7 support and cutting-edge technology. Learn more at ipmgroupuk.com. Link in the description below if you guys are interested in that stuff. We've got articles on oneleeds.com. We've got Patreon episodes coming up as well. And I can see you guys in the comment section below as well. Joe doing me an absolute telling me that my microphone's been off. Fantastic mic check. Thank you all. Really appreciate that one. Afternoon, gents. Hello, everybody. Paul Bishop, legend again, gifting 5 One Leeds channel memberships. Top Man Iron is in the building as well. Thank you so much. And without any further ado, Just Joe Football Show. How we doing, buddy?
Okay, mate. Yeah, I'm all right. Well, I'm a little bit under the weather, but yeah. Other than that, mate, it's good.
Am I carrying it today, Joe? Am I carrying it?
Nah. I'll be right. I'll make it through, man. We gotta work, haven't we? Plus, I need to take you to task on a few topics.
I think it's definitely aged you a bit, mate, because you've got a 49ers hat and suddenly I'm Eminem. I don't know what the frigging hell's happened since we last spoke, but yeah, it's been good, mate. It's been good. But can you believe what we said, didn't we? We said last week, if they manage to get a few signings in, if they beat Sheffield Wednesday and if they beat Hull, you're thinking, we said it, didn't we? We said the conversation is going to be completely different. And I mean, wow, here we are, mate. Here we are a bit afterwards.
Yeah. No, we said that, didn't we? 7 days. You've got the perfect opportunity to bookend the window with a win, and we've done that. We could have got some, and people keep saying we're negative on my channel for this, and I don't, honestly, mate, I haven't had a chance this week. I've just been, how busy we've been, but I don't know what you're saying. But I felt we could have been pushed the envelope a little bit more, and I'm getting hammered for being negative for suggesting that. But I think, could have. Yeah, negative that we didn't do enough for saying that, but. I think we could have got that specialist 10. But listen, there is more than enough within the team to make sure we win this league, at least get us to January and still be, in the top 2 at least by January, if not number 1 spot. I'm not trying to give excuses or anything, but it could have been a little bit more. But I'm more than happy with what we did get, the players that we did get in, the results that we've seen, 2 clean sheets. I don't know about you, Conor, but I don't even think we've got out of second gear yet either, as in terms of performances. We've been okay in parts, we've been good in parts, we've not been great yet. And when we are great, the Championship needs to be put on notice. But what a test when we return against Burnley as well. That'll give us a real barometer of where we actually are at.
Yeah, mate, I think we need it. I think you always feel earlier on you want a bit of a test against some of the big boys in the division, don't you? Sunderland going strong. Massive win for them down at Portsmouth as well, 3-1, dominated by all accounts as well. So you do wonder if they're going to be a bit of a surprise package. I know Gabe Sutton, is it? Or Gabe Sutton, I went on one of his... He put
them top, didn't he?
Put them league winners, yeah, and everyone had him immense. I mean, listen, we're not saying it'll happen, obviously, but it's they've got a good young squad, I think.
Don't forget. And I live in Sunderland, and my mate's been on at me, Chris Rigg, and that top player, the left back. I forget. They have got a good squad, but do they have the staying power? Do they have the depth of squad? And we mustn't get away from the fact that Preston, I think, won 6 on the spin start of last season. They nearly got relegated. So if you want my honest opinion on Sunderland, I think they will drop off. They will drop off. They've got a great coach. We know that. He was linked with Leeds when we were in the Premier League. His stars dipped a bit, but, maybe he needed a move to the Championship and he could have a Bielsa-style impact on this Sunderland side. You never know, but I'd still think still too early to put them down as front runners for me. But we'll see.
Yeah, I've not really, to be honest, I can't profess to have seen loads of other teams play this time. I've been a bit wild with it. A lot of it's just been Leeds. I've not sat down and watched many other sides, to be honest with you. So I've managed to catch a little bit of the Sheffield United-Watford game. Obviously, Watford have started strong, haven't they? But interesting about Sheffield United's bench, I was having a look, Joe, and I genuinely, I could probably name 2 of them. I ain't got clues on their bench, but at the same time, they've got the starting level's pretty strong in it. But I mean, you're looking at Burnley fluffing the lead against Blackburn as well. They've had a bit of a stuttered start. Who are you looking at the minute? Luton. I don't know what is going on with Luton. I mean, in the Championship, Joe, it can be 5 or 6 wins, and you could be right back up there again, can't you? You could be top of the table, but it feels right now that there's a massive opportunity for teams with potentially the 3 that have come down.
Yeah, I think if we look at the league this time last year, we wanted a better August. We got that. I think we're 3 points better off, Conor. And if we look at the teams that have come out from the Premier League, we're above them all. Whereas if we go back to last season, Leicester were knocking teams out of the park at this stage. Southampton were going well. Ipswich were flying. We were obviously down in mid-table somewhere. But my point is, and I maintain this at the start, this is more like a quintessential Championship season. And what I mean by that is you will get more points taken off you by other opponents. Like last season, we went into every game week thinking Leicester will win, Southampton will win, Ipswich will win, Leeds will win, kind of vibe. Whereas now you look at it and you go, oh, I'm not too sure, because you've got so many teams that could get a result on the day. I look at Middlesbrough, you've got Sunderland, you've got Watford, you've got us, you've got Sheffield United, you've got Burnley, you've just got so many teams, West Brom, Hull City, that are okay. I don't know about you. What I did see on Saturday was we're a level above the competition this time around. Okay, there might be a few similar teams to us. Burnley potentially, obviously keeping hold of Brownhill and the guy up top. I forget his name now. His name escapes me, but they kept hold of a few players on. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, they kept hold of a few players. Sheffield United have a very good 11, not great bench, but outside of that, mate, I'm looking at Hull City. They will be there or thereabouts. Yeah. And when we looked at our bench and what we brought on, I actually laughed during the watch along. I was thinking, I can't believe the dearth of quality that we have got now. I actually think it's not a better ceiling of squad, but it's a better basement. It's been brought up the level. If you look at the bench, I think Ethan on Twitter made a good point when he was like, last year we're turning to Shackleton. This time we've got Schmidt. Last season we're turning to other players. And, I mean, look, we brought off Pirro off the bench, for example. And, other clubs would jump at the chance to have him starting, When James comes back, he's going to be an option. Solomon, Ramazani, no one can chat to us, I don't think, in terms of squad depth. So, for me, if we don't win the league, it would be a failure, in my opinion. And I know that's wild. If we get top 2, I'm not asked. But I think we should be winning this league. We should be winning it.
Even without the 10?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, of course. I mean, Aronson, I did think he would rip it up, and I'm not saying he's ripped it up yet, but he's going well, isn't he? He's going very well. Very well. Yeah,
he surprised me, to be honest. He's probably a good one to touch on, actually, in terms of where we thought we'd be with some of these additions. And I don't know. He still frustrates me, Joe. But I'm very much. I've always been the same with this sort of stuff. I sometimes need to level down maybe my expectations and my standards when it comes to Leeds, because we're not like a Premier League outfit playing week in, week out. But sometimes, we're seeing those old things naturally, where maybe like a few extra touches, a little bit heavy on the touch as well, passes, weight of pass sometimes a little bit off. But I'm being extremely harsh there. He's come in, should have had a third goal as well, shouldn't he, at the weekend? Ball was cut back to him and he hit it straight at the keeper, didn't he? But what I will say, he's always in the right place at the right time, Joe, and I think that's testament to him, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm really impressed by him, and I'm actually happy for him. I know a lot of people can't stand the lad and all that sort of stuff, but I think I'm actually happy for him that it's going well. My American boy and all that jazz. I think he'll have a great season, mate. And, who knows, by January, we might not even want a 10. He might be smashing it. And like Chris has mentioned there, Willie and Aronson interchange, and I think there's a case for Solomon being able to go in there at times as well. We're going to have to talk about Solomon, Conor, because, you weren't big on the signing. I know it's only one game, but I think Neil Redfern says in them first 20 minutes it were like tackling smoke. That is a line. That is a line. I think for me, he looked different, gravy. And it's his first game, and he was only here late. So I just think if he stays fit, for me, he'll be one of the best attacking options in this division. I think, and he'll have much easier opponents to face.
But Coyle was quality. Thought he was really good.
And people are bemoaning his rugby tackling and all this, but that's the dark arts. He was at Leeds over a decade ago. He's been around the bush. He knows it. So I think for me, Solomon will have easier days as well. I was really impressed with him.
What do you think with what I said? Because I think obviously me and Joe obviously chat a lot just between us as well. And I thought, and I said this when I was looking at the game, I thought Coyle had his number a little bit in terms of him cutting in a lot. And however, the chat was saying to me, Conor, but Somerville did that every single time. And when he did that every single time, teams couldn't stop him. And I was saying, do you know what? It's not a bad point whatsoever. But I thought when he attacked the line, I thought Coyle, and I can't remember who the right winger was, Joe. Was it Jarvis? Yeah, Jarvis had come on, hadn't he? And Jarvis, almost, they were showing him inside. They were showing him inside a lot because I felt like he kept doing it. But then as soon as he went down that left-hand side, I thought, oh, wow. I mean, he skinned them both there, and he put a really lovely ball in. Credit to Joe. We'll get on to Joseph in a bit, by the way. But maybe I had a look at it again, Joe, and maybe it's the three who are now those attacking midfield spots. So you got Nonto, you got Solomon, and then you got Aronson, and maybe that's how we're moving. And it's almost Bielsa-esque, and you're looking at the overlaps constantly with Firpo and with Bogle.
I remember someone saying to me, so I'm not going to take credit for this, but I think it was Danny who mentioned it, how like in Farke's best Norwich side, he sort of had like they all played quite narrow, the tens, they all played quite narrow, and then you would have
Lewis
won it, yeah. So I think this squad now and team is built more in the image of what Farke would want. Obviously, I'm not trying to give him any sort of like excuses for last season, because anyone would take Rutter, Somerville and co, do you know what I mean? Of course. But like this is probably more built in his image now, and I do think we've seen a lot more variation, in the way that we play. I mean, again, Gruev, mate, he's had more shots on target this. He's
definitely getting further forward. He's definitely 100%. Getting further forward.
Your man Rothwell's fourth choice bench option. What's going on, bro?
Shocking.
He's it. Rothwell, Solomon. What's going on, man?
Disgrace, absolute disgrace. Get Rothwell in. I thought it's getting more like, I can't even say it anymore. Like I'm getting on and I'm like, well, people are like, what's your preferred lineup? And I'm like, Rothwell. And they're like, why? It's like, what's the point?
What about Tanaka though, bro, as well, in the short cameo we seen? Really?
Yeah.
Really good.
Apparently he's called Al, isn't he? I figured that one out. Apparently he's called Al Tanaka. But
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, mate. He just looks. There was one time where he got the ball and so basically, normally you'd see him square it to maybe the right centre-back, or it had been Roden, and he just pivoted on the ball, sent the player one way, and then just continued going forward. And I thought, he is, Joe, calm, really, really calm, and nothing bothered him. And I just thought, yeah, you almost, that's the thing we talk about Gruev. Joe, he's finding that bench very soon, unless he goes with the midfield three, which I don't think he will.
No, I thought what I was quite really impressed with him, and I didn't know. I've not watched him play. I just go on what others have told me about him and stuff, and I didn't realise he could play like really deep as the six as well. Like he came on, and he dropped right in between the centre backs at one point, and Ampadu was ahead of him, and I was like, oh. And I just thought that takes a hell of a lot of confidence as well, and fearlessness, having just come into the side the night before, to be like, listen, captain, you stay out of the way, I'm going to drop in here now and get this ball, and then I'll move it on to you kind of vibe. And I just think it shows a different kind of mentality. And I think because of how easy the chant is and all that, he's probably thinking and saying to his partner and whatnot, saying that fucking, I have landed on my feet here, So I think he's gonna really get better. And it will be interesting because I don't see in the interim him dropping Gruev, by the way, especially not against Burnley, because he'll probably want a little bit more solidity, and them two can do that. But yeah, really, 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 really good, man. I, to be honest, mate, are you like? There's no signings you're not impressed with now, having seen them play, right? Like I don't. All the subs worked. They came on. They had an impact. I'm not looking at any of them players and going, I'm not sure about that.
No, the only one who I looked at the weekend, I don't know about you, but
Might not be Solomon.
No, no. I'm sick. I'm sick of Liam Miller having a game against us. I really am. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of him. But he's a good
He's a
player.
good player, man.
Yeah, I like him. He's a really good winger.
I'd have taken him, you know.
Miller.
People were bashing. I wouldn't dare because then at that point we still had Somerville and everyone thought we were getting fucking players up here. Do you know what I mean? But I'd have taken Miller. I still, even now, even though what we've got, I still think he's very good.
But as well, even with Solomon, you know my context around it. Like I was obviously we were chatting and stuff like that, and we were chatting, and I was just more narked off about how much we're paying with the lack of game times. We did the counterpoint on yours, and I was like, I'm not 100% sure he's going to be playing. So if he's not playing, we need other options in there. So that's what I was worried about. I have to say, I was really pleasantly surprised with him. I thought.
What does the future look for? Because it is going to be difficult for the manager. Yeah. What does that future 4 look like for you? Do you think it's hard, isn't it? Because you can't really drop Aronson.
Did you not find it interesting how, like, obviously Solomon's been at the club a lesser amount of time. Obviously, he's played in pre-season for Spurs, but I was really surprised that he just stuck him on the left immediately. I thought he'd have maybe started with Ramazani and stuck Ramazani on the left. That's what I thought we were going to see.
I would have agreed with you, but I did the press conference, and in the press conference, he talked down Ramazani and mentioned about giving him time and him, adapting to the physicality, and then finish with, however, Solomon has played in the Champions League, played in England before, so he's ready. So that's how I was like. So when we built our 11, I think on Friday, I did think that's the way it would go, although, we had Nonto out there. Although I did say long-term, I think Andrea disagreed. I did say long-term that it'll be Ramazani, Nonto, Solomon. But Andrea was like, nah, it'll be Aronson in the 10. And that's going to be the interesting bit about...
Where's Nonto going, though? At wide right, then?
Probably, I think... I don't know. What do you think? Well, because Nonto played there last season, but we know he plays better on the left. Solomon is better on the left, hasn't played much on the right, but, they could be... Or will it just be a case of... Because they did switch in the first half as well.
They did, yeah.
And the fullbacks will probably be thinking, fucking hell. I keep liking it.
Get against Wednesday, didn't they?
I keep liking it. You know that meme, Planet of the Apes, that monkey when he goes, "Oh no!" That's the fullbacks in the Championship. Every time they switch, they're like, "What's going on?" You know.
Yeah.
We're too good for the league, bro.
I think you're right. I think I wouldn't put. I disagree with Andrea there, just on the basis that I think I wouldn't want him to occupy. Aronson to occupy that 10 role. I just don't think. I think there's going to be games of which Leeds need to break down that low mid block. And I think, to be honest, Joe, when you get Nonto drifting in to that number 10, that is when we look the most dangerous. He's got a real eye for a pass. Aronson, that's what I was saying to you before, and I think he takes too long on the ball, Joe. And I think sometimes the weight of pass is just a bit off. And I think to be a number 10, in a 90-minute game, that's your role to break down the opposition. If they're just not coming out to even play, Joe, which I now think there's going to be more and more teams occupying that, just not playing against us, sitting in for a draw or whatever, especially at Ellen Road. And I think you need someone in that number 10, the heart of the pitch, the spine, to dictate. Unless, and you made a good point, unless we see a little bit of Tanaka getting a bit further forward, and Tanaka can then start with that creative element, which we saw with him in that latter sort of few minutes. But yeah, maybe Tanaka occupies that from deep in terms of the creativity, and then you get Aronson just on that press. I don't know.
Yeah, potentially. I think every manager, it's clear, will love Aronson for his pressing. He's like a knight. Like, he just doesn't stop, does he, to be fair to him? No. So, and if you take that out of the side, are we going to be a little bit too easy to play through? I think the midfielders will love having Aronson in front of them, you know what I mean? Because, I don't know. It's going to be interesting, mate, to see what that looks like. But it's better to have competition than to not, right? I think what we're seeing from the manager as well is a trust in the squad now. If we compare it to last season, he's turning to Joffrey, Shackleton, Bamford, these options, mate. Whereas now, if we're being honest...
Was he injured again?
I know, yeah. I wouldn't have minded another striker, to be honest. But...
Free ride, isn't it, for him at the minute?
Yeah. It's he's going to be here till the end, in 2 years, but...
To the end.
That's why I'd taken Morpay. I got battered for it, but I was going, bring
I
me
saw,
Neil
yeah.
Morpay.
I
Bring
saw
me
that.
Neil Morpay.
Yeah, I thought it was good for Pro to get off the mark, but once again, we have to speak about Joseph, mate. That's 3 goal involvements, 2 assists, a goal in 4 games. Obviously, he did what he did in pre-season as well. 4 goals, I think he got. It's good that I think I was just trying to warn my subs anyway. I was just saying, look, we gave Gray the chance. We stuck by him. He's a young lad. You've got to give the same leeway to Matteo Joseph. It's going to be tough for him to transition. He's now been given that, essentially the number 9 start above Pat Bamford, his first domestic season at this level. You've got to give him time, and I think that goal's going to do him. He went mental, didn't he? That goal's going to do him the world of good.
Yeah, it was great to see him get across his man that we saw in pre-season on the other side, though, that near post run. I think he's so intelligent for a lad of so younger years. I think he takes a while to get into the game.
Yeah.
But then when he does, he's fine. I think there's too many. I'm about to start calling them G&A merchants now. If he ain't got a goal and an assist, you've had a bad game.
Yeah.
And it's so untrue, I think Joseph's done a lot, especially when you consider the centre-backs he's been going up against, the players that he's going up against that are far more experienced than him. I go back to that Sheff Wednesday game, your offer in the end was turning it in. And to see him score, I think before the international break as well, so he hasn't got to sit on 2 weeks of, still not scored yet. He's opened his account. I think the lads are buzzing for him. He was buzzing. So, yeah, we've got a real talent on our hands there. Real talent. That needs to be nurtured, that needs to be given time, because if Leeds were to get promoted, is it enough to rely on Joseph in the Premier League and all that sort of stuff? So we just need to give him time, because I'd still be looking, and I still think we should have brought in someone to support him in the summer ideally, because, if he goes without some games where he isn't scoring, sometimes it's nice to just go, come out for a little bit, lad. We'll bring him in, and then we'll bring you back. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's perfect. Whereas now, really, you tell me, Conor, but let's say Joseph got injured for 2 months in training. The fan base would be going, we've fucked it now, we've not got Joseph. It's a lot of pressure on a young lad's shoulders, really, if we're being honest. He's that pivotal to us, really. And that's a lot to ask of him, so I wouldn't have minded a loan. I mentioned Jay Stansfield, but fucking hell, him going to Birmingham for what was it? 15 million or something?
Was it 15? Was it 15?
Man. 10 rising to 15 with a 20% sell-on clause and extra money if they get promoted. It's mad, isn't it?
There's no restrictions down there, though, is there? That's why they keep going.
Comes in next year.
Oh,
so
does
Birmingham
it?
have gone, fuck it, spend it all now.
That's why they're going after. That's why they're going after Wrexham at the minute, because they're saying if Wrexham go up again and they're going on, spending and buying every single league, they're not going to be able to do it. They're not going to be able to do it. Got any other counterpoints you want to throw them away, mate? Before we move on, anything else?
Yeah. So we've done Solomon. Let's do your boy Creswell and how Farker was right to bin him off because he's worse than Harry Maguire. Did you see them 3 goals, by the way? Have you seen the video?
I saw one of them. Yeah, I saw one of them.
Bro,
he had a shocker. He had a shocker.
It was bad, man. Positioning all over the gaff, his pace and everything. I'm only joking on that one, but I was winding up Jer with it, and then Jer sent me a message. Did you see Glenn Kamara got 3.5? And I went, oh no. So Glenn got a 3.5 rating for Ren and had a stinker. So yeah, they're all having stinkers.
Apart from Matt Rocker, apparently had a really good game. Just get that one in there.
Yeah, get it, man.
Yeah, it's the interesting one is Schmidt. Now this guy. Hey, this guy is a monster. He's about 6'2", 6'3". He's built like a you-know-what. And he can play anywhere. And I wonder where he's going to feature in this side. I wonder if there's potential. Obviously, he's playing against Trabzonspor, not a poor side as well, scoring that worldie the other day for FC Gallen. You do wonder if at some point he is going to maybe heighten himself from just that substitute, and maybe we're going to see a little bit of competition between him and Bogle, I wonder.
Yeah. Or even Firpo. I mean, although you can't compete with him at the minute, but he's predominantly a left-back. He only started playing right-back this season and got, 2 goals and an assist in 3 games or something like that. So, yeah, he's clearly a talented player. He can use both feet. I think it shows great scouting. From the club to pick up players like this for nominal fees. I'm really excited by his by his potential and what he's
he
going to bring.
He is smaller, isn't he? I don't know why I thought he looked. Yeah, shout out to you, Vic Vinegar. I thought he was a lot bigger than that, mate. I didn't know he's 5'8".
5'8". It's not small. I'm 5'8", you dickhead.
Yeah, shout out to you, Vic. I thought he was an absolute. Well, he physically looks big anyway.
I'm built like Schmidt.
Yeah. I guess you can still be a unit and be 5'8", can't you? So there you go.
But yeah, listen, he can play anywhere, and I think it really offers competition in an area of the pitch we don't really have. And if we're being honest, if we look at the rate in which Bogle and Firpo tend to get cards and late in challenges and all that sort of stuff, it's another option there. And we saw Farke change his full-backs at the weekend. Well, he changed Bogle. If Schmidt's available, he probably changes Firpo as well. So it just keeps people fresh, reinvigorated, and I can't wait to see him play because I think he's going to eat up this division as well. Yeah,
I think if we're to be critical, Joe, which we always try and be a little bit on this channel, it's always good, but there's a few things that you want us to improve on as well. I thought that sort of spell towards the back end of the first half was a little bit odd, and we sort of did what we tended to do. Obviously Portsmouth and stuff. We not actually scored the first goal by that point, but we had an intense period, didn't we? And then we just sort of drifted back a little bit. Hull came on, and they had a bit of a strong period. The referee, let's look, Joel. I'm not going to get into him. He was sending me to the moon at the weekend. I honestly ungodly.
Do you think it was a foul on Joe Rodon? I still don't believe it was.
Did you not? Did you see? I just saw this Beddy. Was he called Beddy or Baddy?
Yeah, Baddy. Beddy.
Yeah. I just in his eyes, all I could see was him just looking at Rodon. I didn't even see him looking at the ball. But
a lot of people agree with you, by the way. I thought Rodon was weak as piss. Again, he was a bit shaky at times.
I thought he was, yeah. I didn't think he had a great game. It's passing out from the back. What's going on with his passing out from the back at the minute,
out of play in that at times, and it's like, what's happened to you?
Yeah. So William said some good segments against Hull will only get better with time. How will improve sustained tempo? Yeah, Will, you're probably bang on, mate. I wonder, Joe, if you mentioned earlier on about, and we're going all over the place here, but you mentioned about Gruev earlier on. I wonder if that's going to be in Farke's mind a little bit, because he's got that luxury player as well, hasn't he? In Rothwell, doesn't seem to utilise him. Gruev is a little bit more of your physical, combative midfielder alongside Ampadu. I wonder if maybe Tanaka is going to be, I mean, surely not, but you wonder if he's going to be maybe utilised a little bit more in a luxury capacity, because he's clearly just a class above on the ball, isn't he? I mean, in the Championship, does Farke maybe prefer that solidity in midfield and that double pivot?
I think he will do against Burnley for sure, because it's such a big game that. But I think, look, at the end of the day, everyone's just there's certain players within the side, and I think we can all be guilty of it, yourself included, mainly you. We want to bomb out certain players at the drop of a hat. But we all have our favourites. Look, at the end of the day, it is what it is. This is football, right? But like there does seem to be, even on my channel last night, Gruev's minutes are looking limited and all that. So, this and that. Even on my channel, people were saying, Bogle's in trouble for Schmidt and all this sort of stuff. And I just think, we're doing all right. We just
it's the shiny toy thing, innit? It's the shiny toy. I mean, you were saying it. You get that new shiny toy, and suddenly everyone needs to be bombed out if they've had about 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think Gruev for me, and I'm a big fan of his, but Gruev's really, really impressed this season so far. And like I say, and look, I do think how Tanaka is going to be a baller for Leeds United, but I just think it's very harsh if we're ready to say straight away, like, just get Gruev out now,
Well, in that same thought process, what do you do with James then? Because James had a really good start to this season. Obviously, he was omitted with injury. Because if we're talking Gruev, aren't we?
But I don't rate James, you see. So I'm like, yeah, see you later. Like, as soon as any time I put in everyone always says the disrespect on James, James. But I just don't think technically he's got it compared to what the others, and that's just my opinion though, right? So you know, this is what I'm saying about we all have our favourites. But I think you agree on James, right? Like, I think it'd be him who sees the bench, do you think, or not?
Yeah. 100%.
He's not in a conversation. Like, we're talking about Nonto, Aronson, that 10, and then you're looking at Ramazani or Nonto on the right, and then you've got Solomon on the left, which probably stands out on his own, or maybe even Nonto if you want to put that there. And then I don't think James even comes up in conversation, to be fair.
Yeah. It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because at this level, he's very good, isn't he? He's very good. And he's a little bit like Aronson in terms of he picks up on the scraps, I think. And positionally, when he's in the area, he always seems to be in an advantageous position. But I think with James, like, there's just better players on the ball. But I still think at this level, he's a really good asset. But yeah, I agree with you. I think if you've got a little bit like last season, innit? You know, at periods when we had like Sinister and Somerville, or you'd have like Rutter, Nonto, and Somerville. James ain't getting in, is he? Look, I know. And the only reason he obviously started the season well, didn't he? Nonto was out, and then Nonto kind of got him back in for a bit. Then Nonto was out again, and then James finished the season. But
he's probably got injured at the worst time as well.
Yeah. I think I'd be worried as well about Nonto picking something up. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I won't want a period with him out the side, to be honest. Maybe you'd look at Solomon. He can play central as well, can't he? Evidently. So maybe you'd look at him potentially coming into centre midfield or centre attacking midfield. I don't know. Or Tanaka going a bit further up.
Yeah. And I just like DLR Fabrications, one of the members on my show, top lad. Like, I know I don't, to be honest, I don't think James is better technically than Aronson, but the reason Aronson was spoken about in that conversation there is because he's the 10, right? Like, James isn't in conversation for the 10. In the 10, you're going to be probably Nonto and Aronson. On the right, you're probably going to be thinking Nonto, Ramazani. On the left, you're probably thinking Solomon or Nonto. That's what I think a lot would say, personally, and that's why I think James is below that. But that's just me. There's a lot of people that say, rightly maybe, that he don't get the flowers he deserves and he should be starting. So that's fair enough for that as well. Yeah.
Danny said drop Ampadu, drop Rodon, put Ampadu centre back, I presume you mean, and Tanaka. Not for me, mate. I don't want to go through that again. Not again. I'm not taking our best.
He's not been that bad that we need to drop him, has he? He's just
he's not.
He's like last
people
season.
People are just seeing him compare to Strauch, in my opinion.
Yeah. There is that, and I think even last season, mate, like people would say Somerville and Rutter had a poor game, but they hadn't. It's just the standards are up here, so we're so used to seeing Rodon do well that when he makes a poor pass, we're like, he's fucking having a stinker here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Vociferous Clan, shout out to you, mate. I still worry about how many points games Meslier will cost us this season. Thoughts on Meslier at the weekend, Joe?
Yeah, I don't know. He made saves, bro. But I've mentioned it. I got called negative for this. I'm quite surprised. It's like, but I just think the communication's off between him and Rodon. I don't think Rodon rates him.
You don't like him, does he? At all?
I don't think
he's always shouting at him.
I don't think he rates him, and there was like an indecision between them, and the passing to Ampadu. A lot of people are saying, well, Ampadu wanted the ball. Yeah, I hear you, but he shouldn't have given him the ball. So I guess they're both culpable.
He's got the pitch in front of him.
I guess they're both culpable. Yeah, it was a shocking pass, and we could have easily conceded. He's fine for the division, and I was a big advocate of his. So again, opinions can change. Of course they can. But... yeah, he gives me kittens. But the one thing we ask of him is that when it gets through, please do make saves. And when the lad got through up top, he has the strike. Meslier made the save. He made some key saves yesterday. Not amazing, but he was in the right place, right time. Whereas, if we look at Portsmouth, first shot and goal. So, that's improved. That's the thing. He's not a problem until he's a problem, if that makes sense. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. There was one point where is it Badi again? Yeah. I can't believe he didn't put Miller in. Miller was on that overlap and he had a strike right down Melee's gut. And I thought to myself, bloody hell, if he'd have slipped him in there, I think that might have been 1-0 or 1-1, whatever it was. Sean says, get Chris Classen back on a free.
Sean was Sean, he's the type of idiot that was asking Classen to start last season because he's like...
idiot. Joe is smoke.
And when they say, those on Twitter say, he's never conceded a goal. It's like, yeah, but he hasn't really faced any shots, has he? Let's be honest, I just love that. Yeah, you're not joking though, Sean, because I remember you saying in my chat, start Classen! And he's gone to the, one of the worst leagues in the world and then been bombed out there because he loves fucking nuggets too much. So, yeah.
Vic says Ampadu's best games have been with Leeds at centre-back. How many clean sheets? Yeah, but Vic, that's... oh, man. This entire team, we'd made so many changes there. Firpo would come back in at left-back. Nonto would come in. Bamford would come in. That wasn't just that wasn't just down to Ampadu being at centre back, mate. And also, like Joe's quite rightly said, Rodon's not been that bad. He's not been good, but he's not been that bad. I don't understand this whole want for taking out. Look at Ampadu against Sheffield Wednesday. For me, he was top 3 on the pitch. He just dominated Barry Bannon in that game. And it's, I thought at the weekend he was really, really good as well. And like Joe said as well, he can get forward. You can get forward. He can offer you something there if you've got Greve at deep.
And what I will say as well, we got them clean sheets that we did last season. We'll probably do it this season and then some.
Yeah.
And it'll be in midfield, and then we'll be saying, we only did it because he was back.
But we've kept 3 clean sheets.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
On the bounce, haven't we? We've kept 3 clean sheets. Yeah. So it's one of those, really.
10 more, and we've already matched it, man. You know what I mean?
Easy.
Easy.
How are you seeing it going then, mate? I mean, we can get the fixtures up right now, but are there any sort of ones that you're looking at and thinking, oh, bloody hell, that's it. It does feel like that Burnley one's got already a lot on it. So I don't think it's a must not lose in it. It feels like already.
Yeah. It'd be nice because it'll give us a gap on them already. You know what I mean? And we know how quick it how quick the gaps create. Let's have a look. I thought, to be honest, Conor, we had quite a difficult start. In all honesty, we did have quite a difficult start. I think. Yeah. Portsmouth aside, we've played West Brom, which is one of the hardest places to go. We were the last team to beat Wednesday at Hillsborough, which proves it's a hard place to go. Yeah. And Hull City are a team that prior to the season starting to pushing for top 6. So. It's a very difficult start. We'll have a much easier run, but even if we bucket up them next 4, they're not easy, are they? Burnley at home, Cardiff away, which is always tough for us. Coventry at home, who we didn't beat last season, and then Norwich away. So yeah,
Norwich is always like, we've done all right down there recently, but it's always one of those games where you think, you don't want to go down there. It's a horrible journey, and you don't want to go down there, and it's
that's really
always decent.
That's rock hard, actually, because prior to the season, you're probably looking at Sunderland and Watford and going, meh. But looking at the starts, you're now going, bloody hell, we've got Burnley, Sheffield United, Coventry.
Look at October there. You've got Norwich, Sunderland, Sheffield, Watford. It's a big month, October, isn't it? Bloody hell.
Yeah, very, very difficult, actually, looking at that. Bloody hell.
Can't be arsed with this. Just can't be arsed with this game. He's getting... He's getting on it already. I mentioned it on a tweet. He's getting right into this season, and it obviously didn't work out for Wilder at Watford, but he's giving it all that. And then said afterwards, that's a proper Sheffield United performance. Tackles flying in. There's a fight at the end, and you thought, he's loving it. He's back, and he's got his mojo back, Wilder.
He has, mate, and I did a reaction sort of vid when he was chatting about Mickey Mouse tactics and that, and I just thought at that point, obviously we find out later we'd bid for Hamer, so that where it originated from, but I just felt, listen, Leeds, don't get involved in it because I know what his game is, man. He's doing it again where we all get riled up, and he had the last laugh last time, didn't he? Muppets from Leeds and all that, and that's where, again, I'll praise Fat. He didn't I think Farker's pretty infallible with stuff like that, because I did want the journos to mention it. I think they got briefed beforehand to not mention that Hamer stuff, because not one journo mentioned it in the press before the window shut, but I was hoping they did so that you could have a clap back at Wilder, but I think with Farker you're not going to get that. I mean, we never got it from Bielsa, but as a fan base we were all over Wilder, weren't we? So it's going to be it's going to be interesting, and listen, if we can... The thing is, Sheffield United, great 11, manager, the jury's out on, because his start isn't what it once was. Obviously, as you said, he went to Watford, didn't work out, went to Middlesbrough, didn't work out. He just stuck around the place, waiting for Hecky to get the sack, and then basically got the job on the technicality of a legend. You have a feel. So, yeah, we'll have to... and that's amazing, Bex. Bex loves Leeds, yeah. I mean, that is crazy. We do not concede, man.
Yeah, great little stat there. Tom says, can we all have a laugh at Scum United? Oh, Joe, I had one of the most heated interactions with one of my best mates last night, putting a little meme of Trent laughing. Oh, the nibble that I got. Who are you playing? What league are you in? Oh, they were rattled yesterday. And it's another weekend, Joe, where they've lost and we've won. It always makes it
Did
better.
You see Trent giving it this to the Man United fans?
Yeah.
Do you know what, though? When Casemiro came off, I was doing the game and I went through their bench We have a better bench than Manchester United. I'm not even, bro. I'm not joking. I'm not joking, bro. They had Maguire, Evans, 2 keepers in Heaton and the Turkish lad, the new lad they bought.
Yeah.
They had and the rest were made up of youngsters. One of them came on who came on for Casemiro. Genuinely, the bench.
Collier won it.
Collier, that's it. Outside of that, man, they've got and Giallo. But then again, he should have started. Rashford's there. Like the manager's the problem there. But listen,
Who cares? Who cares?
It was fun to watch, and I captained Salah, and I got mocked for it, bro, because I didn't captain Haaland, and at the end of the game, he got the exact same points. So I was like,
on mine, I set up a championship one, and there's a fair few of my subscribers on there, but I signed up to your Premier League one. I didn't check that because Ash tweeted at me. Apparently, he said he can't believe how bad I am at FPL. So
that guy's a fucking menace. He's a fucking menace.
He'll be somewhere. He's got about 900 accounts.
I didn't even. Yeah, exactly, man. He only sets out to beat me, bro. He's got about 10 accounts running, like you say. So I don't know. Yeah.
He's always got the most likes on his comments, hasn't he? I reckon it's all his accounts liking that comment. Love you too. Redback Joe and Little Mo. I don't know what that means. Who's Little Mo? Is that Mo from EastEnders? Is that the hair? Essentially, I don't know.
I could be.
Could be that.
I did like the Annie Lennox shout the other day.
Oh, great shout! I mean, I've had some good ones. Do you remember Alistair Darling, the politician with
no.
He's got like black eyebrows, and hold on, I'll get him. It's probably the best.
But when I heard the Annie Lennox, I was like, that is a beauty.
Hold on. But yeah, mate, I'm gonna get this one up now just to show you. You'll like this one. But yeah, I've had people call me Peter Ridsdale as well, which is interesting. There you go. Do you remember him?
I don't, mate. No, but there you go. I mean, I can see it though. I can see it.
I've had a few, mate. I've had a few. Keep getting your comments in, everybody. Loves speaking about the Man United game. You set them off here, Joe.
Where do you think? What are your expectations for Leeds United, having seen the first month now? Where do you think we should finish, and where do you think Farke will get us to finish? Did he align?
I really wish. I really, really wish I had your unwavering belief. It is an unbelievable. I don't know if you put it on sometimes. I'm like, does he actually believe this? Is he this positive about Leeds United? And I think you actually are.
Do you think I put it on?
No.
You know me well
I've known you for frigging 6-7 years, so I know you don't put it on. So it's this unwavering belief that Leeds United are going to do it in whatever league. And I do wish I've always just got this niggle with Leeds in the back of my mind, just of the disappointment. This is why I don't know where you get it from. I'm like, what's it based on? Just this fantastic belief you've got. So I do think it will obviously, I mean, obviously, Conor, but I think we will finish in the top 6, obviously. But
only top 6?
No, I'm still not 100. I know you're his man, but I'm not 100% convinced with Farke. I'm still not. But I do look at the squad.
What's not convincing you, bro?
I just wonder. I wonder when it comes down to it. Now, obviously, we know what happened with Norwich, but there's been a long time since Norwich. A long time since he's had that period of time, and really a long time when you look at his Premier League sort of standing, where he's had like lots of wins. You know, that championship win with Norwich, obviously then they went up, but the Premier League campaign didn't go well at all. And I just wonder if in those pressure moments he's going to be able to deliver again. As I said, tactically he's looked at those 3 attacking players this time round, which is good, the overlaps and all this sort of stuff. I just wonder, Joe, in these big months, these big games that we've got coming up in that October, November, we've got all these a huge calendar of games. Is this squad good enough? Is the manager good enough to get us through? I don't know what it is, just this niggle in the back of my head, but I think it'll definitely be a top 3, top 4 finish. I'm just praying we're on the right side of it this time. Just praying we're on the right side of it this time.
Give us a second while I just pick this up.
What is it?
90-point trophy.
There it is.
I think the last 3 completed seasons, he's got over 90 points, right? And I think if we do that again this season, which I expect us to, we'll be top 2. And listen, everyone, if you've got your reservations, I'm big on him, you're not. That's totally fine. It is what it is. We all disagree. Some people rated Jesse, I did not. It's football, right? No one can agree. Otherwise, it'd be boring. And that's why it's good to have this show. But for those people in the chat that go to me, subs, well, this season, you ain't got a leg to stand on with that. For those that say, 1 second, there was some more. There was another one that I seen. So it was the subs. Don't think you have a leg to stand on this season, so we're going off last season there. There was another comment as well that I seen. I'm just scrolling on it. Sorry. It'll be something Sean says because he ain't got Scooby-Doo that lad, but... Hang on. I can't see it now.
Well, Dan said I think the difference is he trusts his benches, which I think is big. I think that is big, isn't it? It's big. I think,
Yeah. Rotation and subs, I don't think you've got a leg to stand on. Set pieces are unconvincing, Joe. I mean, listen, I don't think that's on Farke, personally. I think that's on the team of shit headers that we've got, in all honesty. Like Strauch, every time a ball goes into the box, I back Strauch to get on the end of it. His movement from set pieces is exceptional. It's just I hope that it doesn't land on his head and I hope it goes to his feet. It's not our fault. It's not the manager's fault that Rodon can't hit a ball for Toffee. Ampadu can't hit a ball for Toffee.
Rodon's always. Have you noticed he's just miles away from every single time? He's just like I always think if they're hitting the first man, Joe, get across the first man. Get across the first. Have someone there every single time. If you've got Grove hitting the first man, Dan James hitting the first man, Aronson hitting the first man, get your best header of the ball on the front man. Run across that post, and it's just it riles me up because it is an opportunity, Joe. These are the margins of which potentially you should be working on that in training.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And like you said, there is some people are just great at reading the flight of the ball because we can see that with Pascal, right?
Yeah.
Like 9 times out of 10, he gets on it. For those that are saying, does he trust his bench? He's not waiting till the first sub came at the 74th minute. Would you have changed it while the game was in the balance on Saturday? On Saturday in particular? Do you think he got his subs right? I mean, I would argue he did, but just for I know the chat can't answer. But would you be a critique of his subs on Saturday, having watched the game, Conor?
Who came on? Was Nonso the last one on, or was he the first one?
So Ramazani and Pirro came on the 74th for Nonto and Solomon. Then Pirro gets the goal 6 minutes later, and then he brings on Byram, and then he brings on Rothwell and Tanaka right at the end.
I thought Nonto was risky, but he got it right. It right. I thought I don't think the game drastically changed. It became more stretched, obviously, after we'd scored. But did they come off after they obviously came off after the first goal, didn't they? Nonso.
So Joseph scored. Then he swapped out Solomon and Nonto, which I expected Solomon first full game start. I expected he'd come off around about that time. I'm surprised we got 70 minutes out of him, to be honest. Like with it being his first game. I don't know. And when I
think with the bench he's got now, I'd like to see subs a little bit earlier if it's not going to plan.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's fair. But I think a manager lives and dies by the decisions he makes. And when he makes a change, and that player then scores 7 minutes after, I don't think you can chat to the manager.
No, you can't.
Really, though, can you? Do you know what I mean? He's got it right.
Yeah, that's what I always try to say, mate. It's like I think you've got to give a bit of balance with this stuff. And people always say, like, that's one guy saying, I've got an agenda against Meslier. Why would I have an agenda against a goalkeeper at the club? I don't rate him, but if he was to perform and we were to see really high levels of progression and development with Illan Meslier, I'd be the first one backing him up and saying how amazing he is and fantastic. What a career arc. He's managed to get from here in my expectations to here. Fantastic. Don't have an agenda against any single Leeds player. I think it comes with balance and bias as well. If Farke is able to, utilize his substitutions a little bit better, we're able to maybe, I don't know, maybe we saw, didn't we, Joe, a little bit in pre-season of a variety of formations, which was quite nice. If we're able to see that a little bit as well in certain games, that'll be interesting and bit of
I think
pragmatism that way.
Super Joe's made the perfect point. I guess we're yet to see when it's not going our way, when we are struggling to break down a low block, if he can then find the answers. And I think that is fair. I think sometimes when we're just throwing out, well, he doesn't change it, and we're winning games, it's like, well, hang on a minute. But if we go up against, I don't know, let's say Burnley, and Parker, he's not tactically crazy, is he? If he goes, we'll try and get a point at Ellen Road or whatever, and we can't break. I don't expect that from Burnley, but I don't know. Let's just fucking Millwall, Neil Harris, Millwall. If we're struggling there and we can't break them down, does he have the foresight to say, right, if I move this tweak here and we go and win the game, then yeah, that's fair enough.
And Steve's, I'm not convinced that he's tactically astute and would survive in the Prem, but in the Champ, I believe. And you're doing that, mate, based on what you've seen so far, and that's bang on the money. You've got a point evidence explanation, it, mate. So, like we all learned in school, that is true. You can't say he's going to be a success in the Prem. No. He's not been a success in the Prem.
No, and everyone uses that. When I do back him, someone said it earlier. Well, would you back him in Prem? I said, we're not even in the Prem, so I don't even need to chat about that yet. When we get there, I said on a number of streams, he'd get 10 games for me. And if after, maybe not even that, after...
I was going to say 10, you could be down.
There's a lot. Yeah. Say 5-6 games in the Prem and we're in the relegation zone and we've had a decent... I mean, if you've had an Ipswich-style run and you've played City, Liverpool, you're like, okay, maybe time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, because the history tells us that he doesn't succeed. So if it started to go straight away, I'd be like, yeah, we need to make a change because he's not going to work it out. Yeah. But we're not there yet, No. So we'll wait.
That will be interesting, though, if we do get back there. And it does follow the Mr. Wayneman plan, the predicted plan of us going up as...
Do you not think we will, Bob? Are you not?
Yes, yeah, I do. I think it's going to be us and Sheffield.
Yeah. Us and Burnley, I think Burnley will get second because
I think them keeping Lyle Foster's a big one, innit? Them keeping Lyle Foster.
And Brownwell, mate. I know people batter Brownwell, but I think keeping him was big because Trabzonspor wanted him as well. And I think he gets goals and assists from midfield, doesn't he?
I got hammered. Hammered by Brownie and KG.
I'm giving you your flowers, mate. You deserve it.
Said it. Not good enough. Apparently he's mid, all this sort of stuff. I said, we're in the Championship. Brownhill's week in, week out for Burnley in the Prem. Woody says, I was watching Luton QPR. The keepers made loads of good saves. All shots going against us. I guess technically they didn't at the weekend, mate. But yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, we're gonna come up against sort of tougher teams in that attacking third, I think, than your Hull Cities. But it's I tell you what, that Miller, and Badi as well, he looked decent as well.
He did look good. I thought that, mate.
Oiper said playoffs for me again. Yeah,
I don't know, but based on what though, Oiper? This is what I mean. Leeds are better squad. We look better.
Yeah.
For me, we've had a better.
Do we look better without Rutter? Someone just said. Do we look more balanced?
No, I mean, no side looks better without Rutter in the Championship for me personally, just because he's that X factor. But yeah, so we've had a better August, so we're already ahead of the game. The league's worse. I don't know why we're going on. Who's better than us? And please, it's too early to say Sunderland yet. It's far too early to say Sunderland.
Yeah, you don't want Sunderland anywhere near that, do you?
I don't mind it, mate. Do you know what I mean? No disrespect, but the place is not great. So Premier League money improves the improves the town, doesn't it, mate? So I don't mind them being in the Prem. They're a big, well-supported club as well. They're a big, well-supported club, and I'd like to see the Mags and the Mackhams go at it on a regular basis. To be honest, it's always a good game, isn't it? So, yeah.
A lot less visceral as well than Borough, who just absolutely viscerally hate Leeds. At least with Sunderland are all right. Lads, you've seen Brighton fans aren't too happy with Rutter asking if they... Yeah, but the funny thing was, when they beat Man United and he came on for 7 minutes and looked absolutely class for those 7 minutes, they're all saying, how have we got him for that fee? So
Yeah, exactly. They need to cool on him a little bit, don't they?
Yeah, you've got to give him a bit of time, haven't you? But all right, guys. Well, we're approaching an hour. This has been this week's edition of the Counterpoint. Next week, we'll be back on Joe's channel. If you've not seen this before, what we do is we go to Joe's and then we go on mine. It's an alternative thing every single week. But I hope you've enjoyed. Make sure you check out Joe's channel. It is in the title of the video. I'm sure you're over there anyway. And yeah, thank you so much for joining, and we will see you in a bit, guys. Cheers.